If you're an experienced planner, you'll want to listen to our next guest talk a little bit about issues impacting the industry like advocacy. But more importantly, if you're a young planner or just considering a career in the industry, you'll really want to listen to our next guest. Welcome, Ray Bloom.
Thank you.
The man needs no introduction, well known to all, and so happy to have you here today.
Thank you, me too.
I know that one of the important things to you is young people who are thinking of getting in this business. What advice can you share with them?
Well, it is, and of course we organise together with MPI and our partners MCI the Future Leaders Forums, so we're very used to working with young people and encouraging them to join our industry. But really what we'd like to try and do is to help them once they have joined. It's very important for them from when they first start to form some kind of involvement within the industry, to be identified and also themselves put themselves in a position so they can enjoy it and get the maximum out of it. I think one of the best ways clearly is because of first of all to join MPI, that's clear. Having joined MPI, then to become involved with their chapters. I think one of the best ways to become involved with their chapters is to volunteer. The chapters are always looking for volunteers, and young people who are dedicated, who are reliable, can make progress very quickly by volunteering. First of all, they'll be respecting for their volunteering, for their enthusiasm and showing their interest. Through that, they're going to meet key people in the industry through their chapters. And my experience as well is that the key people, leaders in our industry, are very happy to work with young people who show a real interest and a real dedication. So my advice would be join your chapter, become involved, become a volunteer.
In some industries, and thank you, that I think is practical information, because in some industries, people want to be discovered, whereas in other industries, you really have to put yourself out and get involved and raise your hand. They become active.
Well, it's certainly going to be much quicker if you become involved in the way I'm describing. By showing your involvement and volunteering, it's going to be a much quicker process.
Right.
And I think also a much more enjoyable one, because otherwise you're on the outside from the beginning. If you become involved with your chapter, you're going to become part of the industry early on. And you can see that as well from the Rice Awards yesterday, from the young person who won the award. She's only been in the industry, I believe it's about 3 years, and already taking a very active role.
You're speaking, of course, of Gillian.
Absolutely,
yeah.
who of course was an outstanding winner yesterday.
Right. And I think that it strikes me that this is an industry that's collegial, supportive, almost tribal community, very connected, and members are anxious to help new members, old members, help each other.
Yes, I think it's the type of people who are in our industry who are very happy to help. And there's no doubt about it that the more senior members of the industry very much like to see young people coming through. There's no doubt about that. I think all of us do. And they want to give them the encouragement. So it works both ways. So demonstrate as a young person you want to be involved, that you're committed, and you'll find the more senior, experienced people in the industry, many of them will be very pleased to help.
Ray, there's one other area I know that you hold near and dear, and that's advocacy. In the broadest sense.
Yes.
Can we talk about that just a bit?
Yes, it is. I believe it's extremely important. For all the period I've been in this industry and all of my peers, the industry has not had the recognition at the political level that it justifies and requires. We ourselves at Imex put on, together with the industry, not just on our own, with the Joint Meetings Industry Council, which represents many of the trade associations in this industry, we put on the Politicians Forum. It's held every year in Frankfurt. At the forum, industry leaders are there, and we bring in politicians. And the industry and the politicians have a dialogue. It's a well-constructed session. And we're trying to convey as an industry the value to the political class. This is happening as well, not just in Frankfurt, our show, but this is beginning to happen around the world. The economic impact study from the United States was constructed here by the industry associations after the financial crisis in 2008, provided figures, which again we mentioned at yesterday's opening session, which are outstanding figures for the economic value, showing that our industry in the United States is in fact larger than the motor industry, which is an incredible thing, and most people wouldn't understand that.
It's surprising, yeah.
It is surprising. There's also now an economic study, impact study in Canada. There is one being undertaken at the moment in the UK, and in Germany, where they have information already. They're saying the same thing as they are in the United States, that in Germany, that our industry is bigger than the automotive industry.
Wow.
So these are incredible figures. It isn't just a question of the economic value, but with the economic situation as it is in the world today, our industry can demonstrate its value, and also that of its significance and importance to the issue of the day, which is employment. And so therefore it is of great value and importance to everybody, and we need to continue to convey this to the politicians. We are getting through to some extent, but it never ends. It can never end. For a start, the politicians change, but in any case it doesn't end. So we're at early stages, but we are making progress. And in addition to the economic value is the value of our industry in what we call the value economy. The value economy being the value of the actual conferences that take place. For example, when medical conferences are taking place, from these medical conferences and the research that's taking place are new cures for illnesses. So it's of great value to mankind. So this, and indeed on top of that, research institutes are created sometimes where the conferences and the meetings are taking place. We need to convey this message. So therefore, there are many people in their industry quite dedicated to do this. But I think it's a message we must continue to broadcast and continue to work at.
Terrific. You have been so kind with your time. Thank you so much.
Yes.
You've heard it from the expert, from Mr. Ray Bloom.